In the past 100 days, the sitting president of the United States has been shot at 4 times. And on May 23, the name of the person who was supposed to be the 5th was revealed. And that name is not Donald, it's Ivanka. In the 200 years since the attempt on Andrew Jackson in 1835, there have been a total of 12 assassination attempts on American presidents. Out of 45 presidents, 4 were killed. Well, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, Kennedy. 8 survived. Jackson, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Truman, Ford twice, Reagan. And in this 2-century-long list, Donald Trump has already been included 6 times. 6 times. July 2024 in Butler, September 2024 in West Palm Beach, 4 times in the last 100 days. In 2 minutes, I'll tell you something you won't hear on CNN or Fox because it breaks the convenient story they're about to feed you, as always. Yeah, listen, it's worth it up to this point, so let's begin. Austin Martin Marlaga. 21 years old, North Carolina, a family of Trump supporters. His cousin and father say he was never interested in politics or guns. He worked at a golf course and donated part of his salary to charity. And then this quiet guy picks up a shotgun and a can of gasoline somewhere along the way. He goes through the service gate of Mar-a-Lago at night on April 22 and heads toward the president's residence. Just like that, a simple walk, like he was just out for a stroll. The president is in Washington. Martin is stopped by Secret Service agents and a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy. The motive is still unknown. The psychological profile is being worked on. Something snapped. What? No one knows. April. So, Hilton, Cole Allen. April, 1931. Caltech, Mechanical Engineering, Masters in Computer Science at California State. Not some marginal guy, an engineer from an elite school, by the way. On social media, he compared Trump to Hitler, and he urged critics of the president to buy weapons. In an email to his family a minute before the attack, a manifesto. Quote, I will no longer allow pedophile Trump. To the rapist, again, Trump, and to the traitor. To cover up his crimes. That is, he will not allow pedophile Trump, rapist Trump, and traitor, something it's not clear what Trump, to cover up his crimes. On the list of grievances, the bombing of a girls' school in Iran. Well, it's clear that he's not right in the head, right? Strikes on drug boats in the Caribbean Sea. That is, he doesn't allow drugs to be brought in. Immigration detentions, the Epstein case. But usually it's the usual set. So Trump was the target. Melania, Vice President, Vance, cabinet members, breaching the security checkpoint with a weapon. So he fired, hit one officer. The bullet hit the bulletproof vest. The officer survived. He has been charged with attempting to kill the President of the United States. Nothing. Damn it, it's unclear. Michael Marks. By the way, Marks. Washington Monument, May 4th. 45 years old, Midland, Texas, yes. And, get this, he has a criminal record for drug trafficking in Florida. So he could have shot because, suppliers, what do they call it, get blown up, right? By the way, he had several aliases, Patrick Michael Savici, but he wasn't some anonymous guy from nowhere. He was a man with a criminal record. At the Washington Monument, he was noticed by a Secret Service agent in plain clothes. The weapon is hidden in his waistband. At that moment, Vice President Vance's motorcade drives by. Marks, not the Marks you're thinking of, pulls out a pistol and runs across the intersection toward the pedestrians. He wounds a minor. Well, naturally, they caught him there. I don't remember now if they shot at him or not. Anyway, in the ambulance, yeah, they probably wounded him. He shouts, "To hell with the White House! Kill me, kill me, kill me!" That's a classic case of suicide by cop. A man convicted of a serious crime, free with a gun 1 block from the White House. Wonderful. Now, Nazir Best. Yes, Nazir Best. This is by the White House gates, May 23rd, so to speak. Here, 21-year-old Mary Lent. This young man has a thick file that no one will show you on the evening news because it says, on June 26th, 2025, he was arrested by the Secret Service for threatening agents. On July 10th, 2025, he was arrested again. He entered a restricted access area. So, yes, he also told the agents as he approached the White House that he was Jesus Christ. He wasn't joking. He walked up to him and said, "I'm Jesus Christ, let me through." So, well, they didn't let him through. For some reason, they sent him to a psychiatric ward. He was released. He also claimed to be Jesus Christ there, and they let him go right away. Go ahead, Jesus. The prosecutor's office requested a restraining order prohibiting him from approaching the White House, but he just didn't go to court, so there was no trial. An arrest warrant was issued. Well, nobody arrested him, and nobody was looking for him, and in general. 10 months later, he stands at the White House with a gun and opens fire on the guards. A random passerby is wounded. Well, simple question. Guys, are you out of your minds? How does a person with psychiatric issues, a psychiatric diagnosis, who has been detained twice, with an active warrant, end up free with a weapon at the most heavily guarded building on the planet? Well, okay, maybe not the most guarded. After the Kremlin and the Forbidden City, where, the Chinese leader sits, I think this is the third most guarded building on the planet. That's it. That's it. By the way, I'll come back to this question in a minute, but for now, let's talk about someone else. So, AlSaadi. And, well, the one with Ivanka, and not only her. So, Mohammed Bar Saadaud AlSaadi, or AlSaadi, and he's Iraqi, I think. Yes, an Iraqi citizen. He's a member of this Kataib Hezbollah, and actually he's some high-ranking person there. Officially, this Kataib Hezbollah is recognized by the U.S. as a foreign terrorist organization, and he's some big shot there. He was trained as a terrorist and, so to speak, as a bomb maker. I don't even know what to call him, right? By the Iranian IRGC. He's not a lone wolf. He's a professional operative of a foreign state. According to the indictment from the Department of Justice, he coordinated about 20 attacks, 18 in Europe and 2 in Canada. That means he specifically set fire to synagogues in North Macedonia. A stabbing attack against 2 Jews in London's Golders Green. The bombing of the Bank of New York Mellon building in Amsterdam, that's the famous case, in mid-March. And the failed explosion at the Bank of America office in Paris, I think that was on March 28. In the spring of 2026, he switched to American soil. Well, they switched him, right? So he sent it to an FBI confidential informant. The FBI immediately contacted him, and so they established connections with him, and he started informing the FBI. He sent photos and maps, synagogues in New York, then Jewish centers in Los Angeles and in Scottsdale, that's in Arizona. At the same time, he published a map of the Florida area where Ivanka and Jared live with an Arabic inscription. Neither palaces nor security will save you. He assumed no American could read Arabic and wouldn't understand his writing. Here's a quote from what he wrote in Arabic. "We must kill Ivanka and burn down Trump's house just like he burned ours." I'm not sure. Maybe by our house he means General Soleimani, who got him involved in this at some point. He's the one the Americans eliminated in 1920. May 15, 1926. AlSaadi was arrested in Turkey while trying to transit, well, you'll never guess, to Russia. To his buddies, just to relax, sit in the sauna and have a good time. Extradited to the U.S. on 6 counts of terrorism, held in custody in Manhattan. I just hope it's not the same place from which Epstein's body was so easily removed. There, and now what I promised. Out of these 5 cases, 4 are Americans, ladies and gentlemen, and 1 is an Iranian agent. And when you watch the news, they'll try to push one simple narrative on you. It's all about easy access to weapons. Now, I hope you understand that this is a lie. Let me explain why. It's not about the weapons, it's about 2 things that the government has turned a blind eye to, and this whole system has been working for many years, and it's simply impossible to change it from the top down. Something has to be survived. Okay, go ahead. America, stop treating the severely mentally ill. Nazir Nezerbest is a textbook example of this catastrophe on a single page. Diagnosis: released from the psychiatric ward. Prohibition. Well, he ignored it. He's crazy, right? Why? So, he's not so crazy that he can't go to court. Let's put it this way, he's crazy, but not that much. There was a warrant for his arrest. No one enforced it. Great. Well, they had much bigger things to deal with. They were chasing after Trump. In the 70s, the country closed psychiatric clinics, believing in the idealistic idea that society would integrate these people. But society didn't integrate them. They don't want to integrate. Society got them back on the streets. In San Francisco, the subway, New York, they're at the gates of the White House now. Now they're armed, with voices in their heads. They have voices in their heads. The other America stopped imprisoning criminals. Michael Marks, convicted of drug trafficking, is free with a pistol just a block from the White House. Nazir had an active warrant, and no one went looking for him. Across the country, this is called, as they call it, bail reform, catch and release. Mostly it's in Democratic states. I wouldn't be surprised if it's federal too, arrested in the morning, released by evening, and then we're surprised why someone who threatened agents in June of last year is standing at the gates in May of this year. And the third one separately, AlSaadi. This isn't a sickness of society, it's an act by a foreign state. This is no longer an American tragedy, this is war, and mixing one with the other is, of course, a dangerous mistake that a country can make. Andrew Galambus, the founder of Field Science, said, "The state has only one function that it has the right to perform. Everything else it has seized. That is the protection of the lives and property of its citizens. Everything else it does is usurpation, and what do we see? A state that manages to regulate light bulbs, gas stoves, cocktail straws in the shape of cucumbers. I'm not joking right now. Cocktail straws in the shape of cucumbers. Yes, it can keep in the hospital a person who was twice arrested for threats by an agent with a gun. The government is focused on itself. Its own business, which has nothing to do with us, but the very thing we pay them for they fail at. And now comes the strongest part. The same Iranian regime that sent an assassin after Ivanka is now sitting at the negotiating table with her father. Her father. He agrees to peace. What must a person have inside to shake hands with a regime that hunted his child? You know, a father's first daughter, the first child. Oh. Today is a day of remembrance. On this day, we are shown without a script, without rehearsal, what it truly means to be an American, not the one who shouts the loudest, not the one who seeks revenge first, but the one who, having every human right to be angry, chooses peace. George Washington, who refused the crown, I hope you know that story. That's Lincoln, who wrote with malice toward none. And that's the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who today chooses to extend a hand rather than put his finger on the trigger. If you want to hear why the government stopped imprisoning criminals, why psychiatric hospitals were closed, and what Galambus said about the real function of power, check out Roadmap to Freedom. It's a separate channel. That is, we break all of that down there thoroughly, and here on the main channel, every day at the same time. So you absolutely shouldn't miss it. Like, subscribe, share with someone who's having a hard time today, and thank those who gave their lives so that we even have a chance to talk about this, or those who were ready to do so, to give their life. See you.